Hello, hello. Happy Monday. We're going to go through strategies to transform stress today, which is one of my favorite topics because we all have stress, probably more than humans were ever designed to have, just by the nature of the world we live in. And I always, in the clinic, I would always tell my patients, and I still tell my clients now that you cannot control your stressors. Many times we can't control them, but we can get good habits in place as far as how we respond to those stressors and how we deal with stress. So, there's a lot of talk and the idea of like cortisol and adrenal fatigue and things like that are really hot topics, especially in the world of weight loss. And it is significant, but you can take all the supplements that you want in the world. And if we don't get to the root of where these things are coming from and really kind of get these daily habits into place, none of that's going to be of benefit. So I have a presentation here that I want to share. Let me share my screen first. Okay. All right. So we're going to go through strategies for transforming stress, and I've kind of already given an introduction to it, but I would just encourage you to kind of think through where are little pockets of time that I can start to develop some of these habits and just make it like brushing my teeth. And none of them have to take a long time. I know that a lot of our stress comes from the fact that we don't have any time. I always would laugh at people who came into the clinic with cold symptoms and they wanted medication right away because they didn't have time to be sick. And I'm like, if I had the magic pill for a virus, for everyone who doesn't have time to be sick, I wouldn't be working here anymore. I would be off on an island somewhere. So anyway, we don't have time, but as we can see from this quote here, the time to relax is when you don't have time for it. And think about how true that is, just like even through our daily life, like our day. Um, a lot of times we're in fight or flight all the time. We have this constant release of epinephrine, norepinephrine, and we never get to the rest and digest, nervous system. And it takes its toll, physically, mentally, all the things. So, let's go through this a little bit. So stress is unavoidable, but it is also manageable. You can change your response to stress, and that has a huge impact on your resilience. So when you have good stress coping techniques in place, this does not mean drinking alcohol or wine or anything like that. Your body becomes more resilient and you can handle greater amounts of stress without having the significant physical reaction that you did before. You can stop the cycle of chronic stress and worry with small changes. These are small changes. They do not take much time. And improving your ability to transform stress strengthens your energy reserves. It improves your tissue health, creates a supportive environment for healthy aging. I mean, have you ever seen somebody and then, you see them a period of time later and they just look like they have aged significantly? Okay, like for instance, before I had kids, now I have aged significantly because of the stress. I laugh, but it's kind of true. You guys know what I mean. So aging, remember that stress really breaks down our DNA and deteriorates our cells at a much faster rate. So healthy aging, it's important for everything. So take deep breaths and learn to transform stress with confidence and some skills that we're going to talk about here. So first of all, it's just important to know that you're not alone. I would say that 75% of what I did in family practice dealt with mental health, anxiety, depression, insomnia, all of those things. Most Americans report moderate to high daily stress, which worsens in even causes and triggers some health conditions. But if we take a few healthy steps every week, it will change your ability to cope with and transform stress. Again, a few healthy steps. This is not like an all or nothing. It's not like we're going from, being on the verge of meltdowns constantly to just totally, it's not like a couch to marathon. Okay. These are a few healthy steps every week. So let's talk about some proven daily stress management techniques. And you will notice that food and eating is not anywhere on this list. So a couple weeks ago, I got out my kids' not behavior chart, like the emotions chart. And that's something that we use often, just, to have emotional intelligence, know how you're feeling and know things that are going to make you feel better. And food is not going to make you feel better. It may temporarily. I'd say the same thing about alcohol and that sort of thing. It may temporarily, but then it worsens the cycle. There's a lot of guilt involved with the alcohol side of things. You don't sleep as well. You're foggy. When you really start to pay attention to how alcohol and food affects you when you use it specifically for stress, you'll realize that it's not helping and it's easier to start to remove it. Not that we can't ever have those things, but they are not meant to really deal with stress like from a root standpoint. So what are some things that do? Going for a walk, listening to music. I don't know about you guys with young kids, but we have witching hour around here. And one of the best things that helps even me when I start raising my voice and getting very overwhelmed and frustrated is playing music, and kids love it. And we as adults can learn a lot from how kids handle that. So eating a healthy meal. This does not mean sitting in the pantry with chips or sitting down with peanut M&Ms, but eating a healthy meal. It really gives you the nutrients that you need. It makes you feel like you're fueling your body. It is controlled to some degree. So that can help. Breathing deeply, centering yourself. This sounds like this is one of those things that you can read and think like, oh my gosh, I do not have time for this. But it works. And I highly recommend the Breathwork app. It's a free app. You can do this when you're in the car. So I did it this morning on the way home from the gym. I turned on they're like 1 to 3 minute deep breathing sort of things. Anything that we can do to stimulate the vagal nerve, the vagus nerve, and turn on that parasympathetic nervous system is going to go a really long way in just turning off the fight or flight that we're constantly in. So highly recommend the Breathwork app. It will even incorporate some things like humming, which, as we discussed in one of the Q&As, stimulates the vagus nerve and really helps calm you down. Journaling about positive things, so gratitude journaling. Just being aware of how you feel and learning some of your maybe like triggers, or, this is becoming too much. I'm starting to feel stressed. How do I deal with that before it's like a full blown, panic or whatever it may be? Being creative, like coloring books, writing, drawing. I think a lot of times this would be something that's very hard to make time for, but coloring is very relaxing and can be very helpful. It just does not mean you have to sit down and like color an entire picture. Just take 3 minutes, color, draw, whatever, can be very helpful. Give yourself a hand or foot massage, or even better, have someone else do it, but prioritizing that. And expressing gratitude to someone. So just talking about with someone like what you're thankful for. A lot of times we get in like such a negativity, between the news and just, oh my gosh, y'all, I was telling a client just a minute ago, we have these little gnats. I don't know if any of y'all are dealing with gnats right now, but I thought it was a banana I had and I got rid of it. And there's still like those little fruit gnats, whatever they are. Anyway, sorry if you see me swatting, that's what's happening. But yeah, we can get like so negative and just, strained human relationships, and a lot of what comes out of our mouths can be negative. So if we really talk to someone or even just say out loud things that we are thankful for, can really just kind of help reframe what's happening in our brain. Spending time with supportive friends and family, looking at something you consider beautiful, like art or nature. I really like the nature part here, and something that I would really challenge you with is take off your shoes. This is why the beach is relaxing for so many people, is because typically we're barefoot. There's a lot to be said for being barefoot and grounding. And we are inside, indoors, way more than we were ever meant to be. So getting some early morning or late afternoon, evening light with your shoes off in the grass, the dirt, whatever, is so, so, so helpful. Incorporating yoga and flexibility. I was just talking to somebody about that. A lot of times it's hard to prioritize that, because we're like, when we work, at least for me, it's like, if I have time to work out today, I need to like burn a lot of calories, like really get my money's worth, my time's worth. But incorporating yoga and flexibility, oh my gosh, it's so helpful. Again, it's going to improve your performance, with the other workouts that you're doing, but it also just really helps slow your mind down, and turn on that parasympathetic nervous system. Adopt an active hobby like bicycling, gardening, water aerobics. I don't know. For me, gardening is definitely something that I would prioritize here. Someone asked me recently what my hobbies were, and I was like, I don't know, like staying alive during the day, eating, drinking, using the bathroom by myself. So whatever, but think about like, what is something that you do? What brings you joy? What do you feel good when you do? Maybe it's like, I really enjoy watching the boys play baseball. I like being at the baseball park. So that's something that for me brings me joy, and I would consider that one of my hobbies. And gardening is great too. I think now, you don't have to have like a big outside garden. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can grow inside, and just reaping the benefits of that. You can read some of these, but a massage, sitting in a sauna, huge benefits with the sauna for both detox and stress reduction. Sleeping until you wake up naturally, which I know most of us moms are like, haha, that would be so nice, right? But if the opportunity ever presents itself, that is a great way to just kind of take it easy on your body. Visualize a place you find relaxing, funny movie, book, reading, actually. I would encourage a lot of you to maybe put the electronics down a little bit, and I am preaching to myself. But stop scrolling in the evening, or, before bed, and read, can be really helpful. So there's a lot of scholarly research that practicing relaxation techniques are significantly beneficial for anxiety, childbirth, depression. I think some of those, you would think, oh yes, but even things like heart disease, high blood pressure, insomnia. I have all my patients with insomnia really have an evening routine, and a lot of it involves stress reduction and mindfulness. Chemotherapy-induced nausea, pain, TMJ, that's a big thing as far as like jaw clenching, headaches. And sometimes we don't necessarily even think we feel anxious, but the cumulative stress that we do deal with on a daily basis really takes its toll and leads to a lot of those conditions. So remember, like I talked about at the beginning, taking a few healthy steps every week is really where it's at as far as changing your ability to cope with and transform stress. It does not have to be all or nothing. So I would like for each one of you to pick 2 or 3 things that you can intentionally work in. Maybe it's the breathwork app, maybe it's going for a walk, or coloring, or a gratitude journal, or something like that. But I want you to even write down, because a lot of times, like we'll say that we're going to start something like this and we don't, or maybe sitting in the sauna after your workout, whatever it is. I would love for you to intentionally put some of these things on your calendar like it's a meeting, because it's going to go a long way in helping you with weight loss, with your mood, anxiety. A lot of you that I'm working with right now, that is your biggest priority, not even the weight. And this is really going to go a long way for that. If we can't get this part right, it's really hard for everything else to kind of fall into place. So I hope that this was helpful. Let me stop my screen share. If you have any questions, let me know. And I always tell you guys, if you have any ideas for Q&A topics, happy to talk about whatever you want me to talk about. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to mention, the DNA Core webinar is this Thursday. So for those of you who have not done DNA Core, or maybe if you have and you have friends or family who you would like to do it, this is a free webinar where I'm basically going to go through a DNA Core report and show you all the amazing things that it helps us with from a nutrition, lifestyle, supplement standpoint. And I would love to see you there. And please invite any friends or family as well.